who's powerful when it comes to lobbying.
Radio down, snowblower into the junk gas. I don't know why this thing doesn't start, but I don't have time to tinker with it right now. I've got to go lie on the beach under a palm tree. The sun just came out. Perfect timing.
You see some catalyst.
Perfect timing. Grass is still green.
That is very difficult to achieve compromise on. We saw the completely
Next, my almost brand new. I forget what this is. Is it a simplex? Simplicity. Whoa. Whee! Perfect. Oh boy. Don't get water in the gas. It may react with the ethanol. I can maybe drink it and get drunk. I'll put some more gas in. See if this thing cranks over. Maybe I'll fill it up with ether.
Near MIT or online.
Massachusetts. All right, I just filled it up with gas. I didn't show that part, but you can see the residue everywhere. Full throttle. Choke's on full. Here we go again. Crank her up! More fuel. There's something to be said for fuel injection. Crank her up! Opera music. 110 volts. It's funny, the record light goes on, and the counter doesn't start for a full second. It's a long second waiting for that counter to show up on the screen. Here we go. Crank her up! That would have been a lot of pulling.
The 19th
So.
century were almost absurd distillations.
Have the fuel off, maybe? I think. Nope. Fuel's on. Fuel is on. Yep. Grab it. Oh, these machines are annoying.
Their operas could be the soundtrack of the Great North.
Crank her up! No choke?
Verdi versus Wagner. First this news.
Change hands. Come on.
Congress set in place unless there's legislative action.
Had it running last night.
The American people should be disgusted. This is going to drag on out into next year.
With Republicans who accuse Democrats of not compromising on taxes or spending. And that's Schumer on NBC's Today Show. Russian President Vladimir Putin has signed into law a ban on adoptions of Russian children by American families.
junk. It's just freaking running great. Can't take this crap. A pain in the butt. Well, it's 15 minutes later. I did all the way to my house, sidewalk both ways, and I'm back to the place where it died 15 minutes ago. I keep hitting the snow. Fun. Oh, you gotta love it. I hate this radio. It's pure bass, even when you have the news on. Piece of junk. What are we doing here? If this was properly done production, I'd be prepared before I turned the camera on with a sound crew and someone to hold the umbrellas to reflect light on what I was doing so there wouldn't be any shadows. But this ain't no fancy production. This is low tech. That's the way I like it. So I took off the plastic covers, cover the carburetor, and pulled off the fuel line, and I'm going to show you what's inside. It was almost empty, and I just put in a bunch of fuel that was in this container, and it doesn't look too good. Looks like somebody peed in it. That's not good. So I'm going to remove the fuel bowl in a second. It's probably full of water. Then I'm going to go to a gas station that sells gas without ethanol in it, because ethanol is freaking murder. If I wanted corn, I'd buy sweet corn. Then I got to go to the building. I got a leaky drain, a leaky faucet. Neighbor's fixing an apartment. He needs some advice. I got to pull some wires. And where's Fruit Loops? Just crazy. Just crazy. Yep, it's not looking too good. Pee-pee sample. Empty. Because my jar's almost full. Here's the guy that wrote the song, Wichita Lineman. It wasn't Glenn Miller or, what's his name? I can't think of his name, who sang it so famously. This is the guy here that wrote the song. Need a small vacation. Drip, drip, drip.
Billy Joel and Jimmy Webb. More in a minute. Here now.
Now I gotta take the bowl off. Crud. Oh, the fuel line didn't disintegrate.
It's 120. This is BPO.
Looks kosher to me.
Store uncovered the full image of Salvatore.
Jimmy Webb and Glenn Campbell. I got my name straight. It's always funny when you hear a new interpretation or an old, less known interpretation of a very well-known, famous song. It may even be better, but it's just hard to get used to. Wow, this carburetor's in a miserable spot. What do we got in here? Oh yeah, the good stuff. Yummy. Hang on, I don't want to lose a screw.
Well, we're going to close with one of your biggest supporters, Linda Ronstadt.
Mucky muck.
Yeah,
crappy gas. So I'll flush it out and get some new good gas. Did you bring me a treat?
Yep.
What was that for mugs?
Duck treats.
Alright.
Linda is and businesses. MBT Bank.
There's the reality.
Special NPR coverage
all full of water.
Fiscal cliff coming up at 3.
Just like the fuel tank
It's here now.
on that Blazer when I bought it.
Bag.
When the tank started to leak, I dropped the tank. It was full of pinholes on the bottom. No rust on the outside, but the inside was full of pinholes and rust, tons of rust. And there was tons of water.
Sandy Hook Elementary School.
Crazy,
Before
huh?
that, the devastation of Hurricane Sandy. So how to celebrate when hearts are heavy? And how
All right, my buddy with the Toyota just came by. One of his apartments lost power. The squeezy thing for the meter
But today we turn
melted.
to our favorite guest, Bruce
They don't make it anymore, of course. It's 20, 30 years old, so he asked me if I had one. I said, I don't do electrical work. He hired the worst electrician in town. I said, I'll take care of it tonight. TGIF, it's Friday. All right, I'm going to get some gas. Ethanol free, I'm going to fill my propane bottle for some heat. And one day, I'm going to put some insulation up in the ceiling. That would sure help. I made those beams with a carpenter. He made them, and I was the helper at least 10 years ago. Yep, time to insulate. Suburbans.